What's up, guys? On today's episode, we're back at Matt Farah's crazy building now. It's been about 2.5, 3 years since I've been here, and I want to see the inside and get a full tour. So we're going to do that today with him on this episode of Drive and Protect. Okay, so here we are walking up. Looks way different.
Hey!
There he is.
Come on in, bro.
Yes.
Welcome to the spot. Welcome to Westside. We're open. Actually, you're here on the right day. We've been open exactly a year. We opened September 1st, 2020.
Oh, no kidding.
So yeah, it's exact. Today is our 1 year anniversary. So the lobby is the lobby. It's a good, attractive, welcoming place. And the most important thing about the lobby is that all the walls are Porsche colors. Oh. So we got Dalmatian blue, aubergine. We've got Inferno. We've got Mexico blue around the elevator. In fact, all the elevator walls are Mexico blue on all 3 floors. That's sort of our consistent
I see that
kind of theme, and
the floor
in our blue as well. So, you know, kind of gives you a sense of purpose, right?
What is this in the corner here?
That is I wanted a motorcycle to park in the corner. And I was originally looking at CBXs, you know, the 6-cylinder motorcycles, the Hondas, they're crazy. But then I found that's an 83 CX500 Turbo, which is the first ever production turbocharged motorcycle. It's a motorcycle with actual turbo on it. It's pretty wild. And it's a little scruffy. Mint condition ones of these will go for like 25,000, like they're, you know, real money motorcycles. This one's got like 45,000 miles and has some needs, although it runs. So it's like cheap. And I've been staring at it parked here. I bought it to stick there, but I think I'm gonna have it restored so I can ride it a little bit. There's a place called Iconic up the road that restores vintage motorcycles like that, and I may send it over there to get restored. But forget the lobby. Why don't you come here to see what you actually came to see? This is the wow shot.
Wow.
So
holy jeez.
So we've been open for a year. We opened September 2020, and by the middle of February of 2021, we were sold out. So we have no spaces to sell right now. We're a sold out facility. And in case you don't remember, there's about 90 cars we can store in this room with our 18 quad stackers plus space on the floor. And then we have a 40 car underground level. So we're the first facility to ever stack this many cars indoors. We're the first facility to stack cars indoors in a seismic zone. And we're the first facility to ever install a quad stacker, even one, over an open deck basement, and we have 18 of them here. So there's a lot of different cars. There's no one type of car that people store. There's all different kinds of stuff. If you actually count, we're probably a little overrepresented with Porsches in general, but that's Southern California. Southern California is overrepresented with Porsches. So there's a variety of air-cooled and water-cooled Porsches, but there's also muscle cars. There's also a couple of race cars. There's also some electric cars, and there's a bunch of really random stuff too. And you'll see things like a Range Rover, and in the corner there's a Honda CR-V, and that's because when our members come take their sports cars out, they leave their daily driver behind. And part of what we do at WCCS is, if you're a member, you know, your cars all get treated the same. You know what I mean? So if you leave your regular car, it gets checked in, put away, and kept on a battery tender, just like your sports car. It doesn't matter which car you rotate in, you know. So we've got a variety of different stuff. The next best, most represented is probably vintage Mercedes. We've got a variety of vintage Mercedes as well, BMWs, M cars and such. And more recently, modern Ferraris. The 458 has become incredibly popular in the secondhand market.
Really?
Well, that's a 458. We've got a 458 here. There's a 458 up there under a cover somewhere, and there's a Pista that right there. That one's a Pista. But
speaking of Ferraris,
and this one's mine here, and I'll show you how the lifts work. It's really cool. So all our lifts have fire sprinklers. Right? We sprinkled the whole thing. So every car has 4 nozzles, all sides, all the way up. So we could target, and God forbid there was a fire on the lift, the system can target it without setting the entire thing off.
Oh,
that's the
cool.
idea,
Yeah.
right? And then I designed this battery tender system, which is rather simple. It's a constant tension reel, which runs a cable clear of all the other stuff to the upper two trays. And you can just plug the car into the tray itself rather than dangling a battery tender cable off, potentially getting tangled up on something, or worse, getting cut and having an electrical situation. So come on, I'll show you how the lifts work. For the lifts, we've got 20 horsepower motors. So you can see them over here, these blue things. There's one there, there's one over in the corner, and there's one against that wall there. Each of those motors runs 6 lifts, okay? And interestingly, because they're hydraulic, the ones that are very close to the motors can go a little faster, right? So the ones in the back corner, what I would call Q2 and Q4, those are the farthest lifts away from their motors, so they don't go quite as fast as, say, right here, Q11 and Q12, which are literally right, you know, 1.5 feet from their power supply,
Totally
right?
makes sense.
So this one, Q17, where my car is somewhere in the middle. So I'll disconnect my battery tender. The our what we call our B level, right? A, B, C, D. The B level and the A level don't use the reels. They just, you know, they're just right here. So to run the lifts, we go up off the lock, we release, and now we can bring our car down, and you can see all the trays move together. And so once I would pull the Ferrari out, I could then Russian doll the trays, and they sandwich into each other. So now that's on the lock.
That was very fast.
That's good, right?
Yeah.
I'll show you here, just for shit and giggle. Here's how fast it goes back up. It's fast.
Wow, that's
It's fast, yeah. Some real horsepower on those motors.
Yeah. It feels faster than New York City.
Huh?
It feels like it's faster than the city.
Than New York City?
Yeah.
It might be.
Yeah.
So and then I drop it on the lock, and now it's locked. Now I turn the key, and it's good. It might be faster than New York City, and that's because, interestingly enough, for the real nerds, if there's any real nerds out there, and I bet your audience there is, we only get 400 amps of power in this building, which for this many hydraulic lifts is really not that much. In California, you're only allowed to use 80% of that, which means 320 amps. Because of that, we had to have this thing made. This little box right here is a power distributing box that only allows you to run one lift at a time. We're a very low volume facility, so we never have to run more than one lift at a time. It's just not a problem for us. If we were a valet lot in New York City, that could be a problem. The trade-off was, well, okay, we can only run one at a time, but let's get the upgraded motors. In New York City, they probably run a 10 horsepower motor, which is the standard. We got bigger motors so that we can make the lifts go faster. So that's that.
Yeah.
And if you've got, here, come over on here, I'll show you where this Land Rover's at, and you can see 2 trays sandwiched. So here we've got the C and D level are on the ground, right? So the tray sandwiches in here. So for most cars, I could put a car up on the C level, no problem with scraping or anything like that, right? But if you got to go on the D level, the very top, we have behind this 993 in the corner, you can just see the little bits of it. We got those yellow ramps. So this poor 993 is a gorgeous car. We do tires here as well. She got a flat, unfortunately. So tomorrow the truck is coming and we can take this wheel off and do the tire here on site as part of a thing we do. So these ramps, if we need to install them, if we need to get a very low car off a very top tray, we've got a hardware solution for that. Come on, let's look at the back row real quick. A lot of good air-cooled, a lot of GT3s. We've got some Americana 55 T-Bird. We've got some modern Japanese. It's a beautiful 1997 NSX, low miles, really nice car. German stuff, Mercedes 6.9, and some
Lambo?
Yeah, we got a Gallardo. There's a BMW i8 up there. We've got a pair, a 58 and then a 63 Corvette on our B and C levels here. And it's, you know, it's just a variety. This right here, the Shelby GT350R, came right off the truck, 0 miles on it, stored indefinitely, you know. We don't question our customers' motivations. We're just happy to keep the car. So Subaru Outback, right? This gentleman, you know, his quote storage car is actually a very nice BMW M4, but the weather's been nice, so he left his Outback, and you know, he'll be back with the M4 eventually. All right, so our yellow tape on the floor, we've got these catwalks above us. I didn't want to build them, but I had to build them by law. So the tape says, if the nose of the car is out here, you're gonna get it cut off on the catwalk. So you gotta make sure to park the cars within the yellow lines. Those aren't just there for not tripping over stuff. Those are there for not damaging cars. Yeah.
Wow.
We can also store, I mean, here's a good example. Tesla Model X, that's about the heaviest vehicle we've got, right? So our lifts can hold 7,000 pounds. Excuse me, I said that wrong. Our lifts can hold 6,000 pounds per tray, 7 feet high, 15-foot wheelbase, 17-foot overall. And you can see we run our Tesla power up there. So that Model X, and then there's a G-Wagon up top. Those are about the heaviest vehicles that we could store here. So here's our tender system, wound down, connected to the tray itself. So we would just connect the battery tender to that, and it would move up and down.
That's smart.
With the tray, right?
Yeah.
Let's go around that way. Watch your step. So, as I'm sure your audience will care, our wash bay is over here. Because we were so limited on space, space is really a thing here. We don't have very much of it. That's why we had to be so vertical. The whole building is really measured out to the inch. And so our wash bay is also our entryway, which is, you know, slightly suboptimal, but like I said, we're a very low volume facility. So it's very rare that we have to stop a wash or a detail in order to move a customer car out and in. We can really plan around that. And because California, we of course recycle. We don't recycle, but all of our water runs through a clarifier. You hooked us up with the Moduline cabinet guy. I love my Moduline cabinets, and of course, we exclusively detail with Ammo products.
Yeah.
We only use Ammo products here. Go look at the cart, the detail cart. Oh, but before you do, we also exclusively gotta shout them out because I love them. We exclusively use the Optima Digital 400 tender, our battery tender cabinet. So all the cars are on tenders at all times. I love the Digital 400, and they gave us 150 of them. So
it's not too bad.
It's not too bad. So we've had a really high success rate. In a whole year, I've only had one foul up. So high security doors, both sides, right? As well as a 24-foot fire door right here. So above us, and I'll show you in a minute, is the members lounge, which means the ceiling has to be a 2-hour fire rated ceiling with a 2-hour fire rated wall and door. So if there's a fire, this door drops and will absolutely take out everything underneath it.
Have you seen it go down?
They had to test it, yeah. It's so loud.
It goes fast? Like,
oh, just gravity. Boom.
Wow.
Yeah. It's wild. I really like our conduit work here.
Oh, I saw that when I came in.
I mean, they did an unbelievable job with the conduit on the wall. All of the tradespeople that we worked with here were the absolute best of the best. Our contractors, Licha Construction, they typically build bridges and hospitals, which, as you can imagine, are the two strongest things that one could build. And so, yeah, our detail bay. You want to go downstairs? You want to go upstairs? Let's go downstairs.
All right, let's go downstairs. Hey guys, bear with me with the aperture. I'm going in and out of light and whatever. So.
That's me at 17 in Connecticut. We've got Smash Mouth. We've got Dave Matthews Band, and you can't see Korn at the bottom. But that was how I was, right? I really was unsure of myself. They
For
made
the
us,
record, I was standing right here
Right.
during this picture when this picture was being taken.
for ADA, they made me put in an elevator, but they did not make me put in such a nice elevator. That was my choice. This is a Kone. This is a badass elevator.
That is nice.
So down here, I don't remember what was in your last video.
We started walking from here, and
Okay.
there wasn't any lights or anything in here.
Okay. Ignore the fact that our plumbers are doing our annual drain clean out right now, but operating business.
Yeah, man.
Like I said in the last video, our ramp is very important for the cars that come in our underground level. You know, in Los Angeles, scraping on driveways is really a problem here because we don't have proper sewers. We have crowned roads into driveways. And so in my place, it was very important that we have a smooth, buttery ramp. So we benchmarked the C7 Corvette ZR1 with two 200-pound passengers, and we graded it perfectly. As you can see, there's no scrapes at the bottom of the driveway because no car has ever actually scraped here. So down here, we have room for 40 cars in storage. Unfortunately, because of California law, this downstairs can't be air sealed like upstairs can. So the gate, there is a gate on the driveway, but it allows fresh air to come in, which gets to our extractor fans. So we can run cars down here, and you can see the ductwork that goes around the perimeter. So we got 14,000 cubic feet per minute extractor fans down here, 36,000 cubic feet per minute fans upstairs. But upstairs, we've got filtered intakes on the walls. There's no windows here, so that's the only way in. So the downside is the cars that live down here can get a little dusty, so some of them like to cover their cars, others, they don't really care. But these are our assigned spaces. Upstairs, all the spaces are unassigned. We park them wherever is the most convenient to get them in and out as they needed. Here, each column is an owner, right? So we've got 4 triples assigned, and then we start the tandems over on this side, where the front and the rear is the same customer. And then we've got a few overflow spots available on the floor. This happened to be one of my employees' cars, and then Zach's BMW.
Yeah,
but,
we're gonna get that on the show soon.
But you know, you see a variety of stuff. We've got an M4 GTS, Cayman GT4, some air-cooled stuff, E30. There's some classic Americana. We've got a 59 Eldorado back in the corner, right behind the clean out that Alan's working on over there. And my wife's van, the Mitsubishi Delica.
Awesome, we took that here
pull
today.
from her cold dead hands. And you know, TRX Ram in the back. This Impala 58 is on hydraulics.
Wow, look at that. Look at the tiny little wheels.
Right. This is a 61 Impala. This is one of these ones that kind of looks like a regular car, but if you start it up, it sounds like a NASCAR. It's got one of those homologation super engines in it, you know. We do motorcycle storage. So this customer got 1 car spot, and he keeps 4 bikes. We allow you to keep 4 bikes in 1 car spot, or we could store individual motorcycles.
I love the backlit. That's so cool.
You know what? That is one of the best values for money in this whole place, because those steel pylons that are backlit, those are actually the original shoring pylons from when we poured the concrete. Normally, you just cut them off. Like for instance, right here, we had to cut them off. This building is done in inches. So because this is where this smart car was technically is driveway, not a space, right? That encroached enough inches that legally I had to remove it. I couldn't leave it. Whereas the gap between this line and the wall is sufficient enough that I could leave this. So we determined that it would be very cool to just backlight them with LEDs.
It's great.
So it adds a little extra flavor, you know, to what otherwise would just be a gray bunker, you know.
And you have like, looks like a war room back there. With
Yeah, so back here's all our power panels.
My
And
gosh.
there's a lot. You know, we've got our transformer, like I said, right? 3-phase, 400 amps. I'm buying a new building. My new building is 1,600 amps. I have 4 times as much power. And
The
then
organization here is
all of
making
our-
me so excited. Look at
all
this.
of our fuse panels. Again, I mean, look, you want to talk, look at this conduit right here. Look at this move.
Wow.
I mean, These are our fire control systems. Here, this red stuff, that deals with our fire. Watch your feet, there's a hose here. Irrigation controls, sewer, planters. These are our power emergency disconnects if we had an electrical emergency. And then in here is our server room for all of our electronics, all of our camera controls. And as you can see, it has to be independently climate controlled, otherwise it'll overheat, which is a pain in the ass.
You guys wanted the full tour, you're getting it. This is amazing.
I told you wanted the nerd tour, right? This is all the nerdy stuff, right?
It's beautiful down here.
Yeah, it's good. It's all about the little details, you know. So we'll go upstairs to check out the air conditioned areas.
Yes.
So what I love about this elevator, you almost can't feel it move. You don't feel any G-forces at all. It's a really smooth elevator.
I'm looking at the numbers there, just trying to figure out if we're moving.
Right.
That's incredible.
It's really smooth, isn't it?
Yeah.
So up here, our basic upstairs lounge area, little library of car books and stuff. This shelf, I love it so much. I wanted a shelf that wrapped around two corners and looked like a canyon road. So this is a one sort of continuous flowing shelf. I really like it. Our members lounge is not big. It is small, but it is cozy. A little mid-century modern vibe. You know, you got the requisite Bentley W12 coffee table. On the wall, we've got our members' wine and whiskey lockers. If you're a member, you can just grab one of those for free and keep your stuff. Because people keep bringing me booze, 3 of them are now mine. The cigar deck outside, basic but effective, and a really nice view, you know, into the facility. This whole wall, every wall that separates, quote, living area from warehouse area is 2-hour fire rated wall, as are these windows, which is what this orange sticker says right here. It says a 2-hour rating. It's upside down, but that's what it says. And so this window is 1.5 inches thick. Each of these windows is about the price of a Camry. I'm not trying to brag about what stuff costs, but I wanted to have this be a full glass. Well, you know what I mean? Yeah, full glass. Look at it. And they quoted me $3 million for a 2-hour file window. I was like, what about these? Yeah. You know, it's like you go to the bar, 3,000 a shot. Oh my God. Yeah, 85 a shot. That seems reasonable. You know, they back it down just enough.
I would have had a porthole or something.
Right. Well, if you compare, just listen. I'll just that to here's our outside window, which is still a very nice window.
Yeah.
You know the difference?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really a big difference. So you could have a fire raging in there for 2 hours and have a cup of tea in here. And it's not just the windows. This wall has 8 layers of plywood. That's how they get that fire rating, is they just add layers of wood. And each layer adds 15 minutes.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, seriously. It's a really funky system. Yeah. My office, I did not clean it at all because you were coming. Mm-hmm. I love a little mid-century vibe, and I think this is somewhere between a Hollywood director, a Howard Hughes, a Ralph Lauren, and sort of my own personal taste. And most importantly, I get to look, out into at my own car on the lifts.
Oh, that makes more sense why you put that there.
Yeah, my cars live on that one when they're here, so that I can. I sold the Safari and my Lamborghini's at service, so I've only got one right now. But that's where my cars live, so I can look at them.
Makes sense.
And then I've got my big monitor here, so that I can, when I come into the office, I can keep an eye on everything. We've got 64 cameras here, and so if we sat here long enough, this would rotate through all of them. Mm-hmm. And then if you look out that window, and I'll turn this light off to make it easier, you can see that's the 3rd level of our quads. So you can see there's a nice little 964 track car, kind of like yours. You see the 63 Vet, the wide body AMG Merc here. And again, it's just a nice view to have, you know. Come on over here. Welcome to the podcast studio.
Oh man, your microphone
changed
completely when you walked in here.
Well, you should close the door if you really want to hear it change. You can. I'm going to turn the studio lights on, and then I'll turn the fluorescents off. So this room now it looks how it's supposed to look. You know, when you build the building from the ground up, and you want to build a studio, you have a lot of opportunity. So these walls are air gapped. This door looks exactly the same as the door for my office, but it's not. It's a soundproof door. These ceiling tiles look like the tiles in the room next door, but they're soundproof tiles, as well as the tiles that you can see, the acoustic panels on the wall here, and this laser cut acoustic panels behind me, which look like a Porsche gauge cluster. My brother-in-law makes these. The company is called Kirai Design Materials out of San Diego, and they can custom laser cut any design you give them into an acoustic panel.
Oh.
And these are made entirely of recycled water bottles.
Awesome.
Fully recycled materials. Kirai Design Materials out of San Diego. They can make them in any color. They can make them in any shape. And then, yeah, the podcast studio itself, you know, we were podcasting in a terrible place for 10 years, mentally and physically. But in here, I really wanted a super thick, super heavy table. This is a live edge black walnut that we've done with the resin lakes and rivers, which is a style I'm really into. The whole studio itself runs on Switcher Studio, which you know, although we have standard Shure microphones into a soundboard, the actual switching is done on this iPad Pro. All of our cameras are iPhone 11s, and it's all completely wireless. So, I mean, it's not, it's not, here's our main screen, all the different cameras, which are not activated yet, and then Zach can pull up stuff for the show on this computer, which goes on that monitor, and that's our podcast studio. That's pretty much how it works. Jay Ryan, who is Porsche Life 111 on Instagram. He's sort of a Hollywood set design guy. Mm-hmm. He did all of our lighting design and stuff, and he's a very talented individual.
Awesome. Walk me downstairs and show me complete the rest of it here, because
I don't think there's a rest. I think that's it. We got the stairs. These are the
video
stairs.
Games up there.
Video games that I've never ever played.
It's the life of a business owner.
I have things to do.
Yes. Oh,
magazine features that have never earned me $1.
This one's cool.
And that's it. That's the spot. I'm going to get a WCCS branded water because I've somehow found myself a little sweaty from this tour.
There you go.
Got to have your name on the water bottle.
Well, thank you for the tour. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the tour. Now get to work cleaning my car.